Hey guys, and welcome back to another one of my little tutorial videos. Now this one's going to be on the program Fraps. For those of you who are not familiar with this program, it's a program you use to record game footage basically. Now you can use it to record a lot of other things, but it uses a lot of space when you create the file, as I will show you later on, and that's because it saves it in the uncompressed format. Now the reason for doing that, there's actually a lot of reasons for doing that, but the main reason is it lets you have complete control over what you want to do when you compress it. Now a lot of games, or a lot of programs out there that record games, I should say, compress for you automatically, and that's pretty nice for those of you who are playing games that may not be as graphically intense as some of the newer state-of-the-art games that are coming out and require a lot of graphics. When those compress it, though, they sometimes lose, or actually a lot of the time will lose, some of the quality that you're recording. So it will look better on your screen. You'll be like, oh, this looks amazing. Then you go back and watch the video, and you will see that it may be a little grainy, it may be a little choppy. It doesn't look quite as crystal clear as it did when you were playing it. And so if you run into that issue, Fraps is the program you want to go with. Now, it does have some drawbacks, don't get me wrong. It's not the greatest program in the world if your concern is hard drive space. As I will show you right here, you will see the uncompressed format is 18 minutes is 21.1 gigabytes. That's a lot of space. 17 minutes is 18. There you go, 21 gigabytes, 19 gigabytes. And these are pretty short files, only about 16 to 20 minutes. If you're going to create a file a lot longer, maybe a Let's Play video of playing an entire level in a game that may take an hour to an hour and a half, it's not going to be uncommon for you to have 100 to maybe 200 or even 300 gigabyte file. For some of you, that may just be too big to even comprehend on a drive. I have a 4 terabyte hard drive. I actually have several of them, so space is not a huge factor for me. But don't get me wrong, that once you compress it, they do get more manageable. Right here, 17 minutes goes down to basically 1.5 gigs, which is still pretty big for some of you, but it's really not that bad, and you don't lose quality. You kind of have to tinker with that a little bit, which I'll get into the program Virtual Dub on how to do that. But this is a video on Fraps, so I'm going to go ahead and talk you through some of the things in the program that you can use, the buttons, which ones I like to use, and what they're for. Now we're on the FPS tab right here. You can go to the movies or screenshot, and if you look down here on the bottom right, you'll see that you have a little box called overlay, and basically I hide mine. Now what this does is you can set what corner you want the FPS to show up in, which is frames per second, for those of you who are not familiar with that term. If you're playing a game, and I'll just use the example EverQuest, and you're looking at a wall, you're not going to be using very many frames per second because nothing's going on. You're just staring at it, basically texture. But if you're in a huge fight, a lot of characters, a lot of mobs, a lot of spells going off, a lot of things going on, the frame per second will go up. And this will allow you to monitor what's going on. How many frames per second does it actually get to, if you're interested in seeing that. Now, I leave it off because when you record the video, this will show up on the video. And there's really no reason to have, a little thing up there in the top right corner saying, hey, here's, gotta hide that real quick. A little too late, but okay. There's no reason to have the FPS there for any reason other than your own knowledge. Now, you can set the benchmark settings, which will allow you to see what's going to show up in that corner, whether it's just going to be the frames per second or frame times, the minimum, maximum, and average of those. You can also stop benchmarks as well, and you can have it only update overlay once every second. Now, if you don't have this clicked, as the frame rates change, it will change with it, so you'll see it just constantly ticking back and forth really quickly. Basically every millisecond it's updating. This one will only ever update every second to make that number a little bit more stable and allow you to see it a little bit more clearly if that's what you want. Like I said, I don't really mess with this entire tab right here. It's not really something I'm interested in. I don't care what the FPS is, really, as long as it records it and it comes out crystal clear, which is what the Movies tab is mainly going to be, something you're going to click on. So you want to first set what folder you want the movies to be saved into. You just click on here and change the folder to wherever you want it. You can name that whatever you want. It doesn't have to be named anything specific. and it will just save them into there as the uncompressed format. Remember that. Now, sound capture, whatever sound cards you have, you're going to go ahead and click on that. You can set it to stereo or multi-channel. I like multi-channel, so I leave it on that so I can get the full effect of all the different stuff that's going on. You also want to check this if you want to be able to talk while you're recording. Some people don't. Some people just want to record the game footage, and you'll just click that off. It's not that hard. You click it off, click it on, set up whatever little device you want, whether it's a second speaker, second microphone. You can have pretty much whatever you want, as well as only capture while pressing whatever. You can change the spacebar to the F key, whatever key that you want it to be. You can change. You want to make sure though that whatever key that you specify isn't something that's going to have a reaction within the game. I play a lot of MMORPGs and review a lot of those games, so therefore it's very hard to find a key that's not used for something else. In those games, the entire keyboard has already been assigned to something, so you have to kind of tinker with it and mess around to find the key that will least impact your game style. Now, I don't use this very often. Like I said, I play MMORPGs, and it's just not practical to be able to talk about what I'm doing in a raid and be able to move around, use the mouse, and do everything if I have to press something and hold it down while I'm playing. It's just not possible. So I go ahead and leave that unchecked so that whenever I'm talking, it picks it up. This does have some negative side effects. Obviously, if you cough or sneeze or have somebody walk into the room, it's going to pick up all that sound. If somebody's outside mowing, it's going to pick up that sound unless you have a pretty good soundproof room with insulation. So consider your surroundings, consider what you want to get across, and make the decision whether you want to have that on or not. Now, I usually have the hide mouse cursor in video checked because I don't like for people to see where my mouse is, mainly because it's a distraction. People's eyes are naturally drawn to moving objects. You walk into a room, if everything's still, something jumps out, whether it's a cat or a bug or whatever, your eye automatically catches it. It's the same thing when watching a video. If you are playing a game and there's a mouse moving across the screen and clicking on things, you will be distracted away from the game footage. So I kind of like to remove the mouse and just have them watch what I'm doing as far as the character and not the mouse. But if you're going to do a tutorial like this, it's kind of nice for them to be able to see the mouse moving across the screen and clicking on things. So you can always click this on or off depending on what you're doing. Now, lock frame rate while recording. This is something I would say don't ever click. If you're going to use this program, you might as well get the full benefit of it. So what this little button does is you can come over here to the side, right here where you see video capture settings, and you can set the frame rates. You can say only do 30 or only do 50. You could even do custom, only do 35.60 frame rates per second. And what that means is if you're playing a game and it goes past whatever you set it at on the frame rates, you get into a large battle and it wants to go up to 70 frame rates per second, in game you will look fine. Your game will look beautiful and everything else, but when it records it, it will not go past whatever you set it at. And so you will get choppiness, you will get lag in the game, in the video. It will not look as good as it could. And if you're going to do this program, like I said before, you might as well use the best possible frame rate that you can get. So you don't have to worry about clicking any of these if that's what you're going to do. Just don't click this one. This one will automatically lock the frame rate, and then you can set it. If you don't click it, it's just going to be infinite. Whatever the frame rate can possibly be is what it will possibly record the frame rate at. Now, this will dramatically increase the size of your file depending on what's going on your screen. If you happen to be running around a town for a full 30 minutes, you'll notice that the frame rate is a lot less, and therefore the file size is a lot less. But if you're going to be doing a raid for, say, 10 minutes, you may find that that 10 minutes is larger than that other 30-minute file simply because of all the stuff that's going on. So keep that in mind as well. Now, the video capture hotkey. This is the button that you're going to press when you're in your game to begin the video as well as end the video. When you're done, you hit it again and the video will stop. Now, some programs like Bandicam or Microsoft Screen Recorder will pop up and even count down, say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it's going to record. It gives you a few seconds leeway. This one does not. The moment you press that key is the moment it's recording. It does not have any lag time. You don't have to wait a few seconds to make sure that it's recording. Poof, it's just recording. So it's very nice if you're in a game and you're just running around and you see something very cool and you want to capture it real quick, but it's not going to stay there for very long. Just hit the key, recording, talk, do what you want to do, and then hit the key again and you're done. Again, make sure that whatever key that you pick is a key that's not going to interfere with the game. For me, I review a lot of different games, and basically for every single one of my games, I have to set this to a different key. That's just something you may have to deal with if you're playing or reviewing a lot of video games. Right down here where it says split movie every 4 gigabytes, I would not suggest that. As you can see, the files are rather large, and if you split a 21 gigabyte movie into 4 gigabytes piece for only 16 minutes, when you combine them, that's just extra work that you have to do by dragging them in there and that appending, and like I said, I'll get into that with Virtual Dub later. But it's just more work for you, and there's really no reason behind it unless you're worried that your computer will run out of space and you want to be able to save it onto different drives or do something like that. But definitely something I would say I'm against. It's just going to cause you more headaches in the long run than anything else. So force lossless RGB capture may be slower. I don't worry about this. I've never used it. I'm not really sure exactly in detail what it does, but it's not something you're going to be using on an average basis. Your videos will come out fine without it, so I would not put this check mark on. Go to screenshots. Screenshots is another cool little feature to have. Folder, you want to set it just like anything else, and then you want to set a hotkey to capture. This is the same thing as anything else. You want to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the game that you're playing. Also, don't set it to be the same as your screen recording. I guess you could, but if you're going to be recording, there's no real reason to have screenshots. You can just take screenshots from your recording later on. You can change the image format to bitmap, JPEG, and so on. You can also have it over here on the side, which is kind of a cool feature. Include frame rate overlay on screenshots, which again, I don't like. No reason to see that. But the cool thing is the repeat screen capture every so many seconds. If you click the F10 key while you're in the game, it will go ahead and take a picture the moment you push that key. But if you have this clicked, it will go ahead and keep taking pictures every whatever seconds that you set it. Every 10 seconds is what I have. Whatever amount of pictures you think you're going to need, I would say half or double that basically. So if you want it every 10 seconds, take it every 5 seconds. It's going to take up more space because you're going to have more pictures, but it's easier to delete pictures when you're done than say, oh, I wish I had more. Just no way to go back and get them after the video has been shot basically. So make sure you keep that in mind when doing this, and it's a very cool feature to have. I like that a lot. So say you went ahead and created a movie. You went ahead and shot one. It worked out perfect. In fact, I'll show you what one looks like real quick. Here you go. This is a video I recently shot. In fact, I shot it earlier tonight. And you can see it's quite beautiful looking. The graphics are really nice. The light shines in. Looks perfectly fine. And then I'll close that down. And I'll show you one that I've already converted, and you can see the graphics are pretty much the same. You can't really see any loss. In fact, they are virtually the same. I shouldn't say pretty much, they are. There's no loss of graphics anywhere in there. Close that down. But the size is different. So you're like, how do you get that size? How do you get it so small? Well, you're going to need to download another program called Virtual Dub. Now, you can always use any other program besides Virtual Dub in combination with Fraps. There's a lot of them to pick from, but Virtual Dub is the one I like the best. So all you do is download this one. I'll put a link under the description on where to get that. It's free, it's not hard to get, and you're going to need a few codecs to go with it. Now, when I'm talking about codecs, they're just little files that you need to download and extract, and they install onto your computer perfectly safe if you get the right ones. Don't be fooled by weird ones that are out there. But there's a lot to pick from, and they all do something different. Now, this one right here is pretty nice, but it makes the file a lot bigger. It's going to be more like 5 to 6 to sometimes even 7 gigabytes when it's done. This one right here is the best as far as coming down to smaller sizes, and you can actually go into configure and set what the quality is going to be. As you can see, 1.0 is the highest quality. and then 51 is the lowest quality. I have mine set to 23, so it's a little bit more towards high quality. This changes actually depending on the game. If I'm playing an older game like EverQuest 1, I can lower the quality, so it's going to be a smaller file size, but I don't lose actual any quality because the game is older and it's not using that frame rates, the quality that it will use on a newer game. If you're going to play something like Far Cry 4, you're going to need a high quality. I apologize for that, guys. I had a cough. But like I was saying, the quality is something that you can tweak with this, which is why Virtual Dub is such a great program, because it really lets you decide for yourself what games you're using and how great the quality is going to be for that game. And Fraps is such a great program because it creates the file in uncompressed, which gives you the option of using programs like this to create the file that you specifically need. Other programs will be shorter on the time as far as recording because it will record and compress, and some even will upload to YouTube or wherever you want, all for you automatically without any hassle or anything that you have to do. That's perfect if they are the quality that you need, but I found with those is they may work with one game and then for the next one be completely useless. They record the file size way too big for the game that I'm playing because it's an older game, and then the newer ones don't record high enough quality and come out looking bad. So unless you want 6 or 7 or 8 different programs to use, I kind of like this way. Now there's some people out there who will disagree, and of course you're welcome to do that, but in my opinion this is the route to go. And again, you can change a lot of the stuff with Virtual Dub. You can go in the audio and you can say where you want the source to come from. You can change full processing mode, which won't pop anything up because I don't have anything in there. But I'll actually drag something over real quick. You just drag the file over. It's fairly easy enough. Make it big so you guys can see it. Now this is the file right here. And if you go to audio and go to full processing mode, it's still not going to pop up. Audio source. And you can go to performance and you can set things out right here. How much of your computer you want to have dedicated to these. And it's like you can say right here, color output fastest. You can use it where it goes slower, process priority, the speed, automatically add extensions to file name when saving, display. You got a lot of choices you can go through. It really is nice to be able to have this much say in how you want your file to end up. So say you're done with all that, you want to actually create a file. You're going to go into video, you're going to go into compression, and you're going to pick one of these codecs. We're going to go ahead and pick one of these right here, say OK. And then we're going to go, well, I'll just load up mine. There's a few other things you can go into, like filters that I have on mine that I go ahead and add. And I go into, where is it? It is, it's not smooth or sharpen. You can do those, and I'll even show you what that looks like real quick, just to show you show preview. This is the preview of what it would look like, and you can see the image changing. You can see the texture dulling or sharpening. You can kind of see that it comes out a little bit more on the panda's hair. Now it's a little smooth. Now you can see the texture. If you look at the character to the left of the panda, you'll see she looks better like this, and then when I do that, she looks all pixelated. Now that's the problem you're going to run into. In fact, I can skip ahead into the actual gameplay. It's a very short file apparently. Okay, well, maybe take a couple seconds there, but you can see what that does. You can also go in there and blur it as well with smooth. I'll show preview. And you'll see around the edges how it kind of blurs the edges together, so it's not quite as sharp. Again, depending on the game you're playing, this may look kind of cool. You may want to do that. I don't really like adding any of these filters. They're not really that important to me. The only one that I add is, I'll even load it. I'll go in here and show you filters. is the brightness contrast. Now I've noticed that, and I only take it down by 6%, that the finished product without this is a little brighter than the actual gameplay that I made, and I like the darkness of it. It looks a little bit more rich in color than the brighter, almost whited out look that it does. But that's up to you whether you want to do that or not. It's in filters. You can add it. And the way, once you've done the codecs or the compression, and you pick the codecs you want, and you've done your audio and all the other things that you're able to do, you can come in here, hit the file, and say save process settings, which is why I loaded mine. Now you save it to whatever you want, you name it, and you can put it wherever you want as well. And then when you're finally done, you can either say save as a WAV file, or you can save it as AVI. Now I usually save as AVI simply for the fact that WAV files are usually a lot bigger, and AVIs are perfectly fine for YouTube, which is where I put my stuff. Now if you want to add more than one video to this, if it's more than one file size, or file I should say, it's broken up into pieces like the 4 GB ones, you want to come over here to amend AVI segment, and what that will do is automatically add the one that you click on. I'll even click on it, and you'll find it in here where you want your stuff, and it's really big, but you can change that to whatever size you want. If you click on it, it will go ahead and add it to the end. You'll see this video is going to end here in a second. And it should put it right there at the end, but it didn't. I must have pinned the exact same movie I was doing. Bring it down here to the bottom. There we go. So this is the end of the first video, and it will automatically begin again the second video, and it's still loading it. So now I'm obviously not going to create this one because this is not the video that I want. So I'll go ahead and close Virtual Dub down, open it back up again. I'll minimize this because it doesn't need to take up the whole screen. I'll take this one, which is only 10 seconds long, drag and drop, go back like I said before, load processes, put that on there, and then save as AVI. And this is where it's going to go, into whatever folder you set it as. Now I usually like to have these set into two different folders. One's the Frap folder labeled as movies, which is where the uncompressed format goes, and the actual one, the extra one that when you convert it over will go into a folder called Virtual Dub Movies, and that's something I added myself. So you just hit save, and this will pop up. Fairly easy. There's not much you can do here. I go ahead and change this to the highest, and it will cut off a few seconds for this because it's only 31 seconds long to compress it. It's usually about, when you do it with this codecs, about 1.5 ratios. So for every minute you record, it will take you 1.5 minutes to convert. As you can see, this is a 10-second video, and it took 25 seconds to convert. So about 1.5, like I said before. Now when it's done, you can simply close it down. Don't forget to delete your original file because it is really large, and there's no reason, unless you really want to have more than one. So the cool thing about Fraps is it will actually record the time and the date of which it's recorded, and it will actually add the title of the game automatically. You don't have to go in there and do it yourself. Now I'll come over here to my different computer called Stick It in Your Ear. Very funny, I know. That's the wrong folder. Come on, pop up. It's taking a few seconds. I apologize for that. So you'll see over here I have different files, and I'll show you the file size for some of the older games. This one was done with screen capture. Here we go. 24 minutes, 4.59 gigabytes. This one was actually created with a different codecs, which is why it's bigger. As I use these programs, I learn as well, and I'll have to come back and recompress these folders or these files to give it a smaller size. As you can see, they take up quite a bit of space, but the quality is still beautiful. It still looks great, and this is one of the older games I was talking about that doesn't really even need the quality that I gave Heroes of the Storm. And the sound works just fine too, but I have that turned down right now so you don't have to hear that. But that's all there is to it, guys. Once you're done with that, you're pretty much set. All you have to do is upload the video to wherever you want, or save it if it's just for your personal use. And again, guys, if you like these videos, please hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment below. Would love to hear your guys' ideas and thoughts on this. And thanks again for watching.